My name is Tessa Morgan, I'm 35 years old, and the night my family shut the door in my face was the same night everything in my life changed. I'm not exaggerating. I remember standing there on the porch holding a casserole dish that was still warm in my hands while someone else sat in my seat at the table. Not a stranger, not even distant family, my childhood best friend, yeah. Before I go on, just think about that for a second. What would you do if the people who raised you replaced you like that? Because I didn't react the way you might expect, but we'll get there. It was Christmas Eve. Snow was coming down in slow, quiet flakes, the kind that make everything look peaceful, even when it's not. I had driven almost 2 hours from my apartment in Columbus to my parents' house in Dayton, same house I grew up in. Same driveway, same creaky front steps, I even parked in my usual spot. I remember checking the time, 5:42 p.m. Dinner was supposed to start at 6. I had made sweet potato casserole from scratch. Burned the first batch, remade it, took me 3 hours. My mom used to say it was her favorite. I thought maybe this year would be different, I really did. See, in my family I was always the extra one, not the problem child. Not the rebellious one, just the one that didn't quite fit. My younger brother Kyle was the golden child, former college athlete, married by 27, 2 kids, big house in the suburbs. My parents talked about him like he was some kind of legend. Meanwhile me, single, no kids, I worked in logistics, supply chain planning, not glamorous, not something you brag about at church brunch. My mom used to introduce me as, "This is Tessa, she works with computers or something." I stopped correcting her after a while, but here's the part that always got me, I was the one who showed up. When my dad had his heart scare 3 years ago, I took unpaid leave and stayed at the hospital for 4 nights straight. When my mom got overwhelmed with bills, I organized everything, set up payment plans, handled calls she didn't want to deal with. Kyle, he sent flowers once and somehow that made him thoughtful. I told myself it didn't matter, that one day they'd see me. That night I thought maybe they finally would. Because 3 days before Christmas, I got news that changed everything. I had been promoted to director of operations at my company. It wasn't just a title, it meant I was now overseeing contracts worth tens of millions of dollars. Leading negotiations, making decisions that actually mattered. For the first time in my life, I felt proud of myself, and stupidly, I wanted to share that with them. I walked up to the door, balancing the dish in my hands, heart beating faster than it should have. I rang the bell, laughter inside, glasses clinking, then silence. You know that kind of silence, the one where you can feel people looking at each other? Yeah, that one. The door opened. My dad stood there, and right away I knew something was wrong. No smile, no "hey sweetheart," just a look, flat, cold. "Tessa," he said. I tried to smile anyway. "Hey, we didn't expect you," that's what he said. "Not you're early, not come in, we didn't expect you." I laughed a little because I thought he was joking. "It's Christmas Eve, Dad." He didn't move, didn't open the door wider. Instead, he stepped halfway outside and pulled the door behind him, blocking me. That's when my chest started to tighten. "I think there's been a misunderstanding," I said. He sighed, actually sighed. "We're keeping things small this year." I blinked. "I am small." He shook his head. "It's just immediate family, immediate family." I felt something drop in my stomach. "Dad, I am your daughter." He looked uncomfortable, not guilty. "Just inconvenienced. Look, Kyle's here with the kids. Your mom doesn't want tension tonight." "Tension," I repeated. "What tension?" He didn't answer. Instead, the door behind him opened a little wider, and that's when I saw her, Lindsay. My best friend from college, sitting at the table in my spot. Laughing, wearing the sweater I gave her 2 years ago. I stopped breathing. I wish I was being dramatic. I'm not. My brain just paused. "Why is Lindsay here?" I asked quietly. My dad rubbed his forehead. "She needed somewhere to go." And I didn't. He didn't respond. Inside, I could hear my mom's voice. "Is she still out there, like I was a stray dog?" Kyle walked into view behind them holding a drink, smirking slightly like this was all normal. "Hey, Tess," he said casually. Bad timing, bad timing." I felt my fingers tighten around the dish. "I drove 2 hours," I said. "And we appreciate that," my dad replied quickly, "but it's not a good night." My mom appeared next to him then, dressed up, smiling but not at me, that fake smile. The one she used when she was about to say something hurtful and wanted to soften it. "Honey," she said, "you should head home, we'll celebrate another time." Another time, I looked past them again. Lindsay avoided eye contact, of course she did. Because she knew, they all knew. "I made your favorite," I said, lifting the dish slightly. My mom glanced at it, then back at me. "You can take it with you." That's when it hit, not anger, not even sadness, clarity. I wasn't being excluded by accident, this was planned, they had decided I didn't belong. My dad placed his hand on the door. "Drive safe," he said, and then he closed it, just like that, click. I stood there for a long time. I don't know how long. The snow kept falling. My hands went numb, the casserole cooled. Inside, laughter started again, like nothing had happened, like I had never been there. Eventually, I walked back to my car, sat down, placed the dish on the passenger seat, and just stared ahead. No tears, not yet, just emptiness, and then my phone buzzed, an email from my boss. Subject line, urgent contract review required. I almost ignored it. But something told me not to. I opened it, and that's when everything changed. The email was short, straight to the point. Tessa, I need you to review a priority contract before Monday's board meeting. This one requires your approval. I scrolled down and froze. The company name in the document was my father's business, Morgan Equipment Solutions. I actually laughed, not because it was funny, because it felt unreal. Let me explain something. My dad always said business was too complex for me, that I wouldn't understand the bigger picture. Even though I had literally helped him organize his accounts when things got messy. Even though I was the one who explained basic cash flow to him multiple times. But tonight, the same business he thought I couldn't understand was now sitting in my inbox, waiting for my decision. I opened the contract. And within seconds, I knew something was very wrong. The terms were brutal: payment delays that would choke cash flow, penalty clauses that could wipe out profit margins, restrictions that would lock his company into dependency for years. It wasn't a partnership, it was a slow collapse. I leaned back in my seat, heart pounding, because suddenly everything made sense. They weren't just excluding me, they were desperate. And instead of coming to me, they went to a corporation that would have buried them. I looked at my parents' house in the rearview mirror, lights glowing, warm, comfortable, safe. They had no idea what was sitting in my hands right now. No idea who I had become. I took a deep breath, then opened my laptop right there in the car, and I started working. I called my assistant. Hey, I need full financials on Morgan Equipment, last 4 years. Everything. There was a pause. Tonight? Yes, tonight. Within an hour I had it, and it confirmed everything: debt stacking, late payments, short-term loans just to stay afloat. They were weeks, maybe months, away from collapse. I sat there staring at the numbers, thinking about the door, the silence, the words, immediate family, and I realized something. I wasn't just their daughter anymore. I was the one holding the decision, so I did what I was supposed to do. Not as their daughter, as director of operations. I flagged the contract, froze it, requested legal review, and sent a note: terms currently pose high risk to partner viability, approval withheld pending revision. Then I hit send. 15 minutes later, my phone rang. Dad, I let it ring, twice, 3 times. On the 4th call, I answered. What did you do? He snapped. No hello, no hesitation, just anger. I kept my voice calm. Who is this? Silence. Then Tessa stopped playing games. I leaned back in my seat. I'm not playing. Another pause. They said the contract was frozen by someone named Morgan. I smiled slightly. Yeah, I said, that would be me. Silence again. But this time heavier. You work there? He asked slowly. I lead there. I could hear voices in the background. My mom, Kyle, panic. Tessa, he said, voice changing now, softer, urgent. You don't understand. No, I interrupted. I understand perfectly. And for the first time in my life, he didn't talk over me. Monday, 9 a.m., I said, bring your lawyer. Then I hung up. That night I drove home, not crying, not angry, just awake for the first time. Monday morning felt different, quiet, clear, like something had finally settled inside me. I walked into that conference room at exactly 9 a.m. They were already there. My dad, Kyle, 2 attorneys, all of them stood up when I walked in. And for a second I saw it: not authority, not respect, fear. Can we talk privately? My dad asked. I shook my head. No, we'll talk here. I sat down at the head of the table, opened the file, and began. I walked them through every flaw in the contract, every risk, every consequence, calmly, clearly, no emotion. This agreement would have shut your business down within a year, I said. One of the lawyers shifted uncomfortably. My dad didn't speak. Then I slid a new document across the table. I revised it, I said. Better terms, fair timelines, removed restrictions, a real chance to survive. He looked at it, then at me. You did this? He asked quietly. Yes, his voice cracked a little. You could have just let it go through. I met his eyes. I could have. Silence. But I didn't, I said, because that's not who I am. The room went still, and for the first time he nodded, not as a father. As someone who finally understood. The meeting ended shortly after. No hugs, no big speeches, just quiet acknowledgement. A week later, the deal made headlines. People called it a rare ethical decision. Funny, right? Doing the right thing feels rare. My phone started blowing up. Messages, apologies, invitations, but here's the truth. I didn't need any of it anymore. I moved a few months later. Smaller place, quieter life. Started mentoring young women in business, helping them find their voice before they lose it trying to be accepted. My family, we talk sometimes, carefully, respectfully, but differently, because I'm different now. I don't stand outside doors anymore. I build my own. And if you've ever felt invisible, overlooked, replaced, just know this. Sometimes the moment they shut you out is the exact moment your life opens up. If this story meant something to you, take a second and think about your own life. What doors are you still waiting on? And if you want more stories like this, real, raw, and honest, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Real life revenge series, because sometimes the best comeback isn't loud, it's quiet and unstoppable.